Today's TCE Trim Memphis Dumpster Fire edition of the College Basketball Experience on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Underdog Fantasy, promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And it's football season, so make sure you enter our free roll football contest up to $3,500 in prizes up for grabs. Go over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/free roll. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/free roll to enter today. And welcome, everybody, to the College Basketball Experience TCE Trim version, where we're talking Memphis Tigers basketball, Memphis Tigers dumpster fire. First off, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. Also known as Mac Tonight over here at the College Basketball Experience, and it's TCE Trim time, so you know what that means. I am joined by the man that's behind the scenes over at the College Football Experience and the host of the College Baseball Experience, and, of course, the co-host of this show, yours truly, the College Basketball Experience. He is the drywall banging, window hanging, LeBaron driving, Noah Bieniek. What is up, man?
What's going on, Mac? Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. Again, like I said yesterday, Sicko season for college basketball. Today's TCE Trim from the news headlines going on in college basketball world over in the FedEx area in Memphis, Tennessee. Before we get to it, though, I want to say on behalf of both of us, this one might get a little messy, as I think I'm a little bit passionate about this, being a former college athlete, Mac's background, being a staffer in college basketball. There's a potential of this one getting a little bit messy, but this one hits home just a little bit for both of us. Like, we're gonna start this thing off with professionalism with an excerpt of the official release from Memphis Athletics today. University of Memphis men's basketball head coach Penny Hardaway announced the changes within the program Wednesday morning. Assistant coaches Rick Stansbury, Faragi Phillips, Jamie Rosser, along with special advisor Demetrius Dyson, will not return this season. Quote from Penny here: "I want to thank Rick, Faragi, Jamie, and Demetrius for all their service to the University of Memphis and our basketball program. These are good coaches that I've worked with closely over the past few seasons, but I made the difficult decision to go in a new direction with our staff. The timing is not ideal, but I want to give this team the best opportunity to reach our goals of winning the American Conference and advancing in the NCAA tournament. With the season rapidly approaching, we are working quickly to complete the staff." So I'm being pushed and pulled in a bunch of different directions right now after this one. Before I open this thing to Mac to give his initial thoughts, I just have to speculate and open a big can of worms here. Tuesday evening, an account that goes by Hitmen Hoops reported on this. And Mac, I think you even mentioned you threw a subtle jab into Memphis last night on our show. But
yeah,
this account, Hitmen Hoops, had some fairly good scoop on the Memphis basketball program and in recent times. Secondly, it's one of those anonymous, faceless college basketball gossip burner style accounts that seem to be growing in popularity ever since Trilly Donovan made it cool and funny. And third, Jermaine Johnson was the first staff member named in that post on Tuesday night. And it was rumored that Johnson was going to air out the entire situation on a Memphis radio show on Wednesday. And since that rumor, I haven't seen anything about Johnson, and it's apparent that he's still on staff here, according to this official release by Memphis and Penny Hardaway. Mac, you now have the floor. What were your initial thoughts on this whole dilemma in Memphis?
Is it September 4th or May 4th? I mean, who who the hell makes this decision on September 4th? Wow. So kind of just screams of a program that's I don't even know how to describe this. It's just not a very organized, not a lot of structure in this program. This is the same program that if you look back on last year, they're in the top 10 on Wednesday, December 6th, sitting at 5-2. They at one point they got to 15-2, ranked in the top 10 midway through January. Then they lose 4 in a row. They miss out on the NCAA tournament, and their NIL collective and just their resources are at a completely different level than every other AAC team. So big time underachievement. It had been rumored that him and Slick Rick had been butting heads. Slick Rick as in Slick Rick Stansbury, not Slick Rick Pitino. So maybe a style difference, maybe a philosophy difference. But this thing reeks of just a bad culture, kind of dumpster fire type feel when you're making these kind of changes on September 4th. It is rumored that Nolan Smith could be one of the names headed there, but I don't know what to make of it. I mean, also remember, this is the same program that added Tomlin in the middle of conference play last year and then completely mixed up the chemistry with that team that I alluded to that was in the top 10. So it more the same with Memphis. Just they cannot find any consistency under Penny Hardaway, headed into his 7th year now.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. So yeah, Nolan Smith, the rumored name that's going to join the coaching staff here. He, of course, was on that Duke staff a couple of years ago, joined Kenny Payne at Louisville, and that was a disaster.
Dumpster.
And you're going to enter Memphis. That's certainly an interesting gamble in a young coaching career. The other name was Mike Davis, former head coach over here at Detroit with his son Antoine Davis. So he's been around the block. Was part of Coach Knight's coaching tree over at Indiana. So my overall arching takeaway from this news drop here on Wednesday was that Memphis basketball under Penny Hardaway is just not a healthy program. One staff move 2 months before the season is rare. I asked Mac pre-show, just like, had you ever experienced just one staff member being released or dismissed from a program? And he said no. Multiple happening at one time here streams that something is bigger is happening here, in my opinion. And before we speculate more and go into this and have some fun, let's take a quick break to catch our breath, because the Sports Gambling Podcast is back, picking every NFL game against the spread like they've done since 2011. Plus, make sure to enter our free roll football contest at SGPN. Up to $3,500 in cash up for grabs. Sign up today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/free roll. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/free roll. The NFL is back, and Underdog Fantasy Pick'em gives you a chance to win 1,000 times your entry. Sign up today with the promo code TCE SGPN, as seen on the screen here on YouTube. Claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCE SGPN. Have you ever wanted to create your own sports betting model for football, basketball, baseball? SGPN's proud partner, Rhythm, is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps bettors provide their ability to create custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITH. And lastly, you can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use promo code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, creating a new account and redeem the code CFBX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, we are back here on the College Basketball Experience talking about Memphis basketball staff changes, and we haven't even gotten into the hot and heavy stuff yet. Let's talk about the new Memphis athletic director, effective July 22nd, 2024, Ed Scott, who took over here as AD. Scott was formerly the deputy athletic director at Virginia, where their basketball program has been excellently ran and totally polar opposite of kind of what Memphis is doing over there. Tony Bennett, pretty steady throughout. Mac, you have more experience in a work environment with athletic directors than I do. What kind of relationships, and can they be more hands-on than one coming from the NBA like Penny Hardaway could like?
Yeah, so that was the other angle. The new AD, that's the other question. Was this Penny's decision to get rid of these guys? I mean, Avetta in the chat makes a good point. It's not just one guy, it's four. There was one other time where something like this happened, and that was, remember, the FBI scandal in the preseason of like 2018 or 2017, where across the country, multiple assistant coaches went down. So unless there's something like that, this doesn't make any sense, whether it's coming from the administration or it's just Penny and that staff had a big time disconnect. So usually an AD this early into his tenure is not going to put his thumbprint on it. Usually the first year is an observational year. Hey, and then after the first year, let's reflect. Where can we get better? Or in this case, or is Penny Hardaway the right guy to lead the Memphis Tigers basketball program? We talked about it. They were 15-2 and in the top 10 last year. They didn't even make the NCAA tournament in a league that they should have dominated from the start. So I don't know. I really don't know. I think this is more the latter, where it's Penny having a disconnect with Stansbury and the staff members. And the big question is, was there a contract issue where they had to wait till after Labor Day to let him go? It's been rumored that they were going to let a couple guys know or let him go, but why so late?
That's my thing here. It's the people side of things.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean, whoever is pulling the actual strings, whether it's Penny, whether it's the new AD,
FedEx,
they're affecting people's lives here right after the holiday. It's kind of a dickhead move. I mean, kids are in school now. Look, Colby makes a lot of jokes about Stansbury and his head coaching ability on the court, but one thing's for sure, he can recruit very well. And you mean to tell me that you drop a grenade on all of the students that have already enrolled in classes, moved into their living situations? I mean, when I was in the recruiting process, I didn't value coaching staff as highly as some others, but I have some friends that left our program after our freshman year because our pitching coach took a better job. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, coaches also have young families at home too. And I know Stansbury is not going to apply to this, but the two others could. Public school begins right around Labor Day all over the country. In Memphis, they're about a month into public schooling. I even looked that up. But these families now have to get up and move if they want to find a new job. And I mean, it's 2 months before the season starts. Who's getting a job? Who's getting a new one in this late of a cycle? Mac, you might know better than me. Like, these guys are shit out of luck for the next 7 months, aren't they?
Yeah, they'll be out of the business. Hopefully their contract got them paid, though. The other thing that kind of just popped into my head, maybe they waited till right now so that they could get the guys enrolled at Memphis and not pull the ties with or pull the strings with Stansbury so that they would transfer again. I know they probably could transfer anyway, but they would probably have to wait until the spring semester, and kind of like Tomlin did with when he was dismissed from K-State. They wouldn't be eligible again till
it's around December, January range.
Because as big a shit show as the NIL portal era is, where you can transfer anywhere and be eligible immediately, you still technically have to be enrolled in classes. So if is the withdrawal date at Memphis already passed? That's another thing to look into. I would imagine it kind of lines up with that. But yeah, I mean, these guys are screwed. They'll be out of the business. Hopefully they got paid at least through the end of their contract. And usually the contracts in college athletics run from July 1 to June 30. That's when the fiscal year lines up. So hopefully they at least get paid in full all the way till the end. Unless there's a bomb that's going to drop on this Memphis program that none of the national guys have heard, or any local guys there.
There's some investigations and academics around this program.
There's always
as well.
at Memphis.
So Anything else that you kind of want to get off your chest and address with this TCE trim today?
They play Missouri in 60 days, so they better get their damn act together. And then they play UConn. They play UConn in Maui, so you better staff camaraderie. Get some kumbaya out there in Maui and get ready to get rock and roll. You play Sparty or Colorado in the next round out there. So I will give Penny credit. He does not hide in his non-con schedule because the AAC is kind of a one-bid league, unfortunately. Last year, they had wins in the non-con over Michigan, Arkansas, VCU, A&M, Clemson, Virginia, Vanderbilt. That's why they were in the top 10.
They also had losses to Rice. Can't remember any of the other ones off the top of my head, but
Rice, UAB, Tulane, South Florida all in a row, and then they lost to North Texas, SMU, and then of course upset by the 12 seed Wichita State Shockers in the conference tournament.
And they stole their leading scorer.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Avetta asks where they going to find 4 staff members. I think that they've already had this plan. There's no way that they just decided to do this today. I think it's been in the works for 4 to 6 weeks probably. So I think Penny's already got his guys, whether it's alumni, probably promote a couple GAs up to the support staff roles. But yeah, I mean, Penny's gone through more staff members in his tenure, 6 years, than I can remember in the country. So
they've gone through 8 this calendar year.
Yeah, and that just speaks to bad culture, bad way to run a program, not sustainable. Honestly, I kind of look at it the same way I look at Colorado football. The way Dion's running his show, I think Memphis basketball is kind of similar. Both really good players. Penny's going to get as long a leash as possible at Memphis because he's arguably the greatest player in program history there. But he's got as many NCAA tournament wins as Josh Pastner, who they couldn't run out of town quick enough in Memphis.
So that's going to wrap up today's episode of TCE Trims. If there's a topic that you guys, the listeners and the viewers, would like to hear from us more on in this preseason here, leave it in the YouTube comments below or hit us up on Twitter or X, Moneyline_Mac, Noah B77_. We will be here every day throughout the offseason, providing daily news episodes, and also our conference previews begin this week on Thursday, where we're covering the Northeast Conference, the NEC. As for the most part, most of our order of the conference previews this year are going to be going into the reverse order of final KenPom rankings last season, with some exception of when we're going to have Colby and when we're not. He's currently moving out and also in football season. So he's moving his entire family cross country from California into the Carolinas. But you can find all of these videos here on YouTube. We will have these things sorted into a nice playlist for all of you guys that are strictly looking to binge college basketball conference previews or these TCE trims or Max summer school conference, summer school coaches tour. And they will all be in various playlists for you. You can also find the college football experience, the Big 12 college experience, the college baseball experience. If you scroll down our YouTube channel a little bit further, you can also find more SGPN YouTube shows, as there's something for everything, for everybody. MMA gambling podcast, MMA gambling podcast, golf gambling podcast, F1 gambling podcast, NHL gambling podcast, or if you want one main show that dips their toe into every big event, while also hitting home runs in the NFL, check out the flagship show, Sports Gambling Podcast. Do us one more favor as we head out of here. Drop a like and hit that subscribe button. This has been the college basketball experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
NEC, baby.